This is the new and updated Undying build for Apocalypse. Before the update on the 4th, there were several overpowered exploited builds going on out there where they overstacked damage reductions, and that allowed people to basically be immune to anything. However, as of the last update to Remnant 2, they've since fixed that, so automatically I decided I'd find out the new Undying build, and I believe I have just found it. With this build, as you will see very soon, I don't even have to dodge boss mechanics, I can just eat them up and regenerate back to full. I will not use dodge a single time on the next boss I fight. Also, as you can see in the background, the DPS is nothing to be slept on either. So let's move right on to the build, shall we? Starting off with the primary, we've got the Crescent Moon Bow. The main reason why I opted in for this weapon will soon become clear, but another reason I opted in for the Crescent Bow is its mod, which increases its DPS quite a lot, as well as it heals you by quite a bit, which is something we want with this build. As for the Mutator, I went with the Supercharger, mostly to increase its DPS. Moving over to the handgun, we've opted in for the Silverback model and equipped the healing shot, which can bail us out from time to time, especially during those situations where the boss is in a state of invisibility so we can't lifesteal. Moving on to the relic, I will admit here, only after the entire recording did I realize that I was actually using the wrong relic. Had I been using the right relic, and this would have been an even easier and stronger build as I went on with my recording. So I used the Enlarged Heart relic, however, the correct relic should have been the Tranquil relic, with the following fragments: healing effectiveness, damage reduction, and health. Health can also be swapped out for more shield, so pick as you like. For armor set, of course we go with the strongest one available, which in this case is the Letter Mark II. And with that being said, let's go on to the juicy part of the build, the amulet and the rings. For the amulet, we opted in for the Full Moon Circlet for its lifesteal. We use this to keep lifesteal as high as we possibly can to keep us regenerated. And as for the rings, we use the Generating Band to regenerate 3% of our health per second while a shield is active, which by the way is all the time because of the tightly wound coil. This is where the bow really shines. Every time you shoot an arrow, you gain a shield for 10% of your max health, which again keeps a shield uptime 100% of the time, which also means we regenerate health much faster because of the previous ring. Now moving on, we've got the Ring of Crisis as a last resort type ring, and the Ring of Grace to keep our health constantly regenerated when being hit by small damage mechanics such as minions and AoE damage. So let's go ahead and see how this build performs against the boss. So right now we're going to be fighting the Mother Mind. The Mother Mind is an okay fight. It's not too hard, not too easy. Oh, messed up there by using a melee attack by accident. So as you can see, I am using the wrong relic. I should have been using the Tranquil Heart. Instead, I'm using the Enlarged Heart. So what I will do is the following. I will not dodge or evade whatsoever, and I will not use my relic. So keep that in mind. I will not be using the relic, nor will I be dodging. So just goes to show you how strong this build really is. As you can see, every time he hits me, he takes a good chunk of my health. I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. In Apocalypse, they simply hit very hard. However, the goal of this build is to constantly keep a shield up and constantly be self-regenerating through the means of lifesteal as well as the shield regeneration. And as you can see, if you pay attention to the bottom of the screen, every time I shoot an arrow, the shield refreshes. You might not notice it now, however, pay attention when the shield goes away and I take a shot. Right here, it might happen. Right there, it's gone. Shot one shot, you saw that, the shield is right back up. So every time I take a shot, that shield is back up, which is where the tightly wound coil comes into play. It's insane. Of course, you still don't want to get overwhelmed, so I'll be killing these minions, and you don't want to be stepping into the puddles and be taking unnecessary damage. I'm already not dodging, and I'm already not using the relic, so I don't want to make this even harder on myself. Another reason why I use the Crescent Bow is, I believe I mentioned this earlier, but I'll say it anyways, is for these blue orbs. When I use the mod and I hit them with a weak spot, these blue orbs spawn, and every time they reach me, they heal me for 5% of my max health. So, I don't mind that very much. Alright, so we gotta avoid that because that's a one-hit mechanic. And I believe we're on to the last part of the boss fight. No, we're not. We still got another one. So as you can see, the damage is nothing to be slept on either. It's not as good as a Hunter Gunslinger build, of course not. But that's not the point of this build. This build is meant to tank. And of course here I am solo tanking, but this would be a fantastic build to be using in multiplayer. So that you can be the tank of your team in Apocalypse. Ideally you'd have teammates who probably should be using the medic as well to keep you regenerated. But for the most part, I can take care of myself. As you can see, every time my health drops, I just a couple of shots and my health is back up. Look at that. And now we're gonna be moving on to the last phase of the fight. And get this extra ammo. Yeah, another issue with this ammo is with this build is since, ow, that hurt. Since we don't do too much damage, we of course do run out of ammo fairly quickly when compared with Hunter Gunslinger builds. Here comes the mod, and these are the blue orbs I'm mentioning. Okay, I should not be on top of this puddle. Oh, you see how I messed up there? Alright, so my character got bailed out by the Challenger Prime perk, but I don't know if you saw that, but the reason why I messed up is I was standing on top of a puddle, I was getting attacked by a minion, and I got hit by the boss mechanic, so it took him 3 full mechanics to be able to take me down. And once again, not using a relic and not dodging. I could have very easily just dodged out of that puddle. Oh, I almost made the same exact mistake. Let me make sure I take these minions out. I don't want to get overwhelmed again. If I had been using the correct relic this entire time, my health would be even more regenerated because of the constant regeneration that the Tranquil Heart provides you. And again, you can evade with this build. I'm just not doing it on purpose. And that's a wrap. It's quite easy. That was, I believe, my second attempt. That was my second attempt at this boss. And that's all we needed. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this build. I will be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.